what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Today we're going to talk about the free legendary champion that you're all going to get after you play the game for 180 days. She is the final reward, I should say, of the daily login rewards inside this game. So she's a legendary champion and she's a good champion, a solid champion. Today I'm going to talk about where to use her, how to gear her up, masteries, how to get the full value out of this champion, because this is a champion, if you're not careful, you might build her out, you might 6-star her and then just kind of be underwhelmed by her, but she is effective. I promise you guys, she's effective if you build her out correctly. It doesn't mean just putting her in god tier gear. It means a combination of masteries, unfortunately, books, and also gear, the correct gear sets on her, okay? So talking about gear sets as I pull her up here, she's the best, in my opinion, in stun. I really recommend you guys put her in stun gear. We'll talk about why as we move on in this video. But stun and relentless also works very well on her. Relentless giving her an extra chance at an extra turn. And also a big part of this with the stun is going to be going with the, we'll talk about masteries in a sec more in depth, but fearsome presence is going to be, in my opinion, key to getting the full ability out of this champion here. So that's going to be a 23% chance of landing a stun just on her stun set, and then we'll talk about her skills. So let's talk about her skills. On the A1, decreased speed, kind of whatever, also has a chance of decreasing the target's turn meter, a solid A1. On the A2, attacks all enemies 2 times. Each individual hit, so 2 times on every opponent, has a 20% chance or 35% chance when booked of placing a stun for 1 turn. Now here's the bad news. The good news is, and I'm always straight up with you guys, right? The good news is she's a free legendary champion and she has a legendary kit. She's a solid, really good champion. Not like, you know, kind of some of these niche champions they're releasing lately who are free-to-play accessible, legendary, like fusions or whatever, but they're just underwhelming. She's not underwhelming. She's a really solid champion. But the bad news is she does require books. And legendary books in this game are so incredibly difficult and expensive to purchase or come by that I don't consider her a free-to-play friendly champion, even though everybody who's free-to-play gets her. So again, kind of the elephant in the room, but I thought I'd address it early on for you guys because I have to be truthful, and I do think this champion needs to be booked if you want to see the full potential out of her. Because think about it, right? Think of the exponential gains you're going to get by booking this wing beat flurry, right? It's going to be a 35% chance, so almost double the chance of landing that stun, and go from a 4-turn to a 3-turn cooldown. That's a lot of value, extra value that you get from booking her out. So although you can use her unbooked, I would make the decision, just me personally, you guys, you know, depending on your account, you know your situation best. But I personally would, you know, watch this video, see what you think of her, and if you think to yourself, okay, I really need a champion like that. She could help me a lot, and I think she's going to help a lot of you guys a lot. Then make the decision, okay, I'll 6-star her, but am I comfortable investing legendary books if you even have any? Because I do think you need to. On Phoenix Wright, it can be a 6-turn all the way to a 4-turn cooldown to revive an ally with 50% HP and an ally protect. Boundless Life is a really good passive. Heals all allies by 10% of their max HP at the start of every turn, and then places a 30% increased speed buff on a random ally for 2 turns, and this is happening every turn. So I kind of brushed by this increased speed on her passive at first when I was kind of reviewing her kit early on when she was introduced to the game, and now I'm just like, wow, after playing her, I'm like, this Boundless Life is a legit ability. Like, this is a really nice passive. So that is her kit, guys. When we talk about gearing her out, she is a champion. If we just kind of go through the gear sets really quickly here, if you don't put her in stun set, again, strongly advise you guys go with stun. But if not, you can go defense, you know, adding speed. She has a low base speed at 95. We want to get that as high as possible. Ideally 160 to 200 plus. I'm aiming for 200 on her. Didn't quite get there, but still that's what I'm aiming for. I'm aiming for around 220 accuracy and 190 plus speed are kind of my minimums that I want for level 20 dungeons on this champion. So again, guys, besides the basic stuff, speed gear, crit rate gear, defense gear on her. You can also go with Relentless gear if you don't want to go with the stun. I prefer the stun, but you can go with Relentless, have that chance of getting an extra turn. Also, Reflex would work on her as well, okay? Having a chance at reducing the Wing Beat Flurry, getting more stuns out. So going back to how I have her geared out here, guys, I'm just going to show you my total stats here, then we'll quickly go through the equipment. 194 speed, important to get as much speed as possible. I'm aiming for 4K defense for the end game on this champion. I don't have God tier gear on her right now because it's a stun set, and I have like 8 champions in stun sets right now. So she just had what I had available. Her crit rate ideally would be 100. It's a little light, to say the least, at 68%. Maybe I'll run her with a crit rate lead on my teams, or maybe I'll just be happy with her not landing crits every time because she's not putting out a ton of damage. She's hitting, when she crits, she's hitting for around, against just waves, like trash waves, she's hitting for around 15 to 25k on her A2, okay? That's both hits combined, around 8 to 12k per hit. Crit damage close to 200%, and then accuracy, debuff accuracy at 240. Accuracy sets are great on her as well. You need that accuracy high to land those stuns, of course. So that's how I have her built out, guys. I have a speed set on her. I have a stun set on her. So again, I chose my gear. I'm just going to go ahead and show you these. Well, here's the top sets. Accuracy, of course, looking for crit rate because I wanted to put her in crit damage. Gauntlets, just to, you know, try to at least get a high baseline of damage if I am critting. So if you don't want to build her up for damage at all, totally fine to just put defensive gauntlets on her as well. I would go defense, crit rate, or crit damage on your gauntlets, depend on what you can find in terms of the substats on the rest of your artifacts, right? So I'm looking for accuracy, looking for crit rate, looking for speed, looking for defense. So even though these are 5-star, most of my gear is 6-star on my account, I decided to go with it there. And then I went, of course, defense. Her damage is based on defense on her chest. And then I went speed. You definitely want to go speed on your boots no matter what, no matter how you're building out your character. So in terms of her ring defense, obviously, and then the crit damage on the amulet, and accuracy, always accuracy on the banner on your Scyl of the Drakes. So now let's go ahead and try her. Oh, Masteries, my bad. So as I told you guys before, Fearsome Presence has an extra 5% chance of landing that stun. Very valuable. That takes her stun set from 18 to 23%, and then it takes the A2 of her, the AoE stun, from 35 to 40% chance. You guys are going to be surprised at the consistency of that stun. It's not 100%, but it's very close to. Well, it's not very close to, but it's very consistent. Sniper and Master Hexer is what I ended with. Also, the Lay on Hands increases the value of this champion's heals by 5%. So let's go ahead and try her out, guys. I'm really happy about this champion. Now, Ice Golem especially, I think this is going to be one of her best spots in terms of really shining. So check out her on this team, guys. The nice thing about this team is on the second wave, with the having to contend with the reflect damage, sometimes I'll lose my Royal Guard in this composition. But that's not going to happen. It's not going to matter with her, right? And you might see it here because we didn't get a crit there, or something happened on Royal Guard where we didn't kill one of those enemies. So now my turn meters are a little bit off. So let's go ahead and see what I'm talking about here. If we lose Royal Guard or Seer to the reflect damage, she'll just revive them. Like, it's nice to have that reviver, again, kind of in your back pocket with this Scyl of the Drakes. So I don't think it's going to actually end up being an issue here. And you can see these stuns. Look at how consistent these stuns are. I should have been pointing this out here earlier. But these enemies are dying so fast that it's hardly, you know, even able to notice it. But I have the stuns from Miscreated Monster, and I have the stuns from Scyl of the Drakes, and this team's not going anywhere. Again, we're getting a heal at the start of every turn. We have the Ally Protect from Miscreated. I mean, this is a very, very strong team in terms of this is going to be a 100% successful run. There's no way I can lose this with the revive on Scyl, her incredibly high defense, and Miscreated Monster with the shield there as well. And you guys can already see, it doesn't matter if I lose C here, it's not a big deal. Plus, I have the shield anyway. We're good. And the stun, you can see it landing on the minions. I mean, this is a very safe run. And this team moves fast. They do a lot of damage, and we have to put up with constant AoEs from the Ice Golem himself. But again here, I think she'll be up on her AoE on the next ability, I believe. Let's see. Nope, one more it looks like. She's not really landing a ton of of damage. Not putting out a ton of damage, excuse me. But there we go, 137, not a bad time. And she did 410,000 damage. So not a ton, kind of in line with Stag Knight and Miscreated Monster. Not a big nuker on my team, but not, you know, absolutely zero damage for a support champion either. Let's go ahead and show her in Dragons as well here, guys. So Dragons, again, I want you guys to pay attention to the waves here. I'm going to take out, so this kind of sucks. I'm going to put in, unfortunately right now, my team speed are kind of all messed up. Really don't want to have Stag Knight going against Magic Affinity at all. It's not ideal here, but he's the only one fast enough to land the decreased defense and go first. So for that reason, whatever, I'm putting him in, okay? Don't judge too hard. I could have kept War Maiden, but she's the slowest of the team, so it's really not even going to matter if she's landing that decreased defense because all of my strong nukes are going to be on cooldown. And it looks like it didn't really make a difference here either. But anyway, let's go and see how many stuns she can land. That's what we really care about here. Now, I'm not sure if it's the next ability or if it's one away yet. There it is. So look at that. I mean, not bad. 4 stuns out of 5 there. And that's the consistency of having her booked up with the 40% thanks to the Masteries and the additional 23% from her artifacts. That's a very high rate of placing that stun, and that's a 40% chance on 2 attacks. So she is very consistent as a stun layer when you have her built out the way that I have her. And again, it doesn't matter if you have her in 6-star gear or 4-star gear, depending on where you are on your account. Just put her in a stun set and just watch the magic ensue. In terms of the crowd control abilities, this is going to help you out again, whether you're on Nightmare Campaign, whether you're struggling on a certain stage of Dragons, Ice Golem. Heck, you could even use her in Fire Knight as well. She does have the correct affinity matchup, but again, going to help you on the waves, not going to help you a ton when you actually get to the Fire Knight. But just for, you know, just for sakes of showing you everywhere in the game, I didn't show you her in Spiders either. She can be a stunner in Spiders, especially if you put her with an HP burn type champion on the same team. We'll keep all those Spiderlings alive. She's not putting out a ton of damage, so it's kind of actually ideal when you think about it for Spider's Den as well. So I don't know if I should show you a Spider's Den or if I should show you Fire Knight. I mean, you guys get the idea of what she's doing. I'll show you Spiders because it's a little bit different in terms of, you know, Fire Knight's going to be the same, right? She's going to be stunning the waves and helping you out there. So it looks like probably Stag Knight was the poor decision there. It's kind of a slower run compared to my normal times at 153, but still, she put out another 417k damage. Not too bad compared to Mausoleum Mage at 67,000 damage, right? So in terms of a support, she does put out decent damage. Do I want this? No. All right, let's go to a Spider's Den to end out the video, guys. So I'm going to put her in with, which Cold Heart do I want here? I don't know if you guys have 2 Cold Hearts. You always forget which one has the good stats and which one doesn't. I'm going to put her in with an HP burn champion. We'll put her in with Trunda. So Trunda has an HP burn on her A3. Let's see how this, I think I need a little bit more out of this team as well. Let's see if I can stay alive with just her heal and her revival here, guys. Usually I need Miscreated Monster as well if I'm not running a speed run, but let's just see how it does, right? Trial and error. I have not tried this before I've done it, which is usually a bad thing, but we'll see how this HP burn ability works. And you can see a bunch of stuns kind of going off there. All the Spiderlings are dead now, which is not what we want to have happen here. We want to keep those Spiderlings alive, but we'll see what we can do here after. It's going to take a little while, probably going to be about a 2 minute to 2 minute and 30-second run here if it works as intended, but we will see. Is her stun enough on a 3-turn cooldown to keep all these Spiderlings stunned and alive? So there goes the first Heartseeker ability from Cold Heart there, but she's going to die because we don't have that stun up. That's why having Miscreated on this team would actually probably be better than having this Cold Heart on the team, believe it or not, because again, it's nice. Look at all these stuns. Now that's what we're talking about. Now we just need Trunda to go and get that, you know what we need to do? Take Royal Guard out, actually. Oh, the revival. I forgot about the revival. Okay, I'm trying to like, trying to workshop this team live, and again, probably should have done this beforehand. But what we can do here is take out Royal Guard actually out of this team, because he's killing the spiders, right? That's the problem on this team. Put Miscreated Monster in there, that will keep everybody stunned, and this run will be a lot more successful and a lot faster. But hey, it gives a good, opportunity to show off her ability to revive, and just keep those big damage dealers, Cold Heart and Royal Guard, up to continue doing their takedown and their Heartseeker ability. So again, landing a lot of stuns, and finally, we get the HP burn and the stun landed. This is what we wanted to have happen the entire battle. So there we go, things really speed up here, and there, finally at 138, we're able to finish this one off. And you can see she did 1 million damage, Shrunda did 2.3 million damage, and that was all off that late HP burn. Again, this team would be better actually if I didn't have Royal Guard in there, and instead I had another stun, a CC ability champion such as a Miscreated Monster. So guys, that's gonna do it for the video. Congratulations if you have this champion. I think she's actually gonna be really great in faction crypts at the very least, even if you're end game or anywhere in the game, if you are mid game, or if you could just use somebody to keep your team alive, and hey, if they die, pick them back up, as we saw with Cold Heart at the end here in Spider's Den. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.